I'm Zara. So today I'm going to be making a Pikachu McDonald's sculpture, so let's get straight into it. So to sculpt Pikachu I am using this Cos Clay. I will put a link in the description so you can find out more information about it, and of course I'll be painting it later on to match Pikachu's colour. I also 3D printed this McDonald's box, and there's a link in the description to that as well. So I basically grabbed some clay, making sure it kind of fits with the size of the McDonald's box I 3D printed, and I started to shape the body and the legs for Pikachu. So this ended up looking like a turkey. You know when you go shopping and you buy a turkey around Christmas time or whatever, and they're in those like skin type bag things that they put them in, that plastic. Yeah, it kind of just looks like that. So that's like my turkey shape. And then I moved on to doing the feet, so kind of like two round pebbly shapes. I don't really know how to explain that, and I just pressed it down. These actually did break off later on, so it might be an idea to use some wire or a cocktail stick. I replaced these off camera because there's no point showing the same process twice, but yeah, I just basically pressed them down to like form the feet of Pikachu, and now the turkey has feet. I then moved on to doing the arms. So these are just like oblong rectangle kind of shapes, and again I didn't really use any wire or a stick, so I'm still fairly new to sculpting. I just wanted to experiment, and I'd never sculpted a Pokemon before, so I just got this idea and wanted to try it. So yeah, I just smoothed down like all the edges of the arm onto like the turkey base that I've already made, and I did the same with the other arm. So I wanted it to be like one arm like sticking out to the left and one arm like up higher to the right, kind of like a ta-da thing, like someone jumping out of you know, in the TV programs where it's someone's birthday and someone jumps out of a giant cake, I don't know, something like that. So yeah, there it is. I then moved on to like doing the head, so I kind of made like a roundy square for his head, and I put some indents in for the eyes. So I will be adding on like his facial features with actual coloured clay, like some polymer clay I have which is in colours. Yeah, so I will put a link in the description to everything I use so you can check that out below. And I added on some extra clay just to like puff out his face for the cheeks, where his like red cheek circles will go later on. And I also added some extra like protrusion, I don't know if that's a word, a protruding part for like the nose area, because of course his like mouth and nose protrude his like overall face. So I actually live in the UK and I haven't had a Pokemon Happy Meal because they don't actually sell them here at the moment. I hope that they come soon, I really want one. So I thought it would be so cool if you bought a Happy Meal and then you got like a Pokemon with it, like a real life Pokemon character. Like how sick would that be? So yeah, that's like kind of how I got my idea. Anyway, then I cut out like a bit for the mouth because I wanted to use some polymer clay. So I've actually got some like polymer clay in colours, and I wanted to put that in like for his tongue, you know, when his mouth is open. So I actually used some polymer clay, which you will see in a bit, to add on like his facial features for like the coloured areas, not just the not the yellow, I mean, as I'll be painting this. And I added on just some extra bits because he has like that kind of wavy mouth. You can actually see that on my nails. So I wanted to try and paint my nails, and I didn't have like the actual colours for nail varnish, so I used my Posca pens to do my nails. I don't know if that was a good idea. It looked okay on my left hand because I'm like predominantly right-handed, but my right hand didn't look very good. So yeah, please don't look at my nails or criticise them too harshly. I then moved on to doing the ears. So his ears are quite simple, just like that pointy shape. And of course I put one sticking up, and I put these on to the head the same way I did like the arms, just smoothing down that bottom part. Again, it'd probably be quite a good idea to use wire or like a cocktail stick, but this held okay. You probably really don't need to do that, but yeah, I mean, I didn't either, so what can I say? But the ears went on quite well, and there is the head. So to actually put the head onto the body, I did use a couple of cocktail sticks, and I just pushed them straight into the body, and I checked that I had like enough sticking out so that it would go into the head but not like come through it. We don't want to put like a stick through the head. So once I'd put the cocktail sticks into the body, still looking like a turkey I think, I pressed the head on nice and firmly and quite slowly as well, just to make sure it went on very well. And then I added some extra clay onto the back, because if you look at like the back of Pikachu, his head and his like body are connected. I mean, obviously, but they're connected like really well. You can kind of see it. I mean, look at Pikachu from the back, then you'll get what I mean. And then I went in and added just some extra detailing on his hands and the feet, using just my craft knife and like a silicone clay tool to make like the hands and the feet stick out. And then basically I think at this point I was ready to bake in the oven. 420. So I baked this at around 135 degrees Celsius for about an hour actually, just because he's so big. So as you can see, I'm cutting like the tail out. So I basically just looked at a picture of his tail and then cut it out with my craft knife. And I like pinched the edges to kind of smooth them down a bit. So I made his tail like quite thick, and that's so I could put some wire in. So as I say, I'm like not an expert at sculpting or anything. I kind of just do things that I see other people do when they make clay things. For example, Kerobyx, check out his channel. He has loads of really cool clay sculpts on there, and even just watching him do stuff, I've kind of learned things. So yeah, I kind of pushed the wire in and then covered up the bit that was sticking out with just some more clay, and this means that I could like bend it like so.
Just interrupting, so let me know in the comments below who your favourite Pokemon is. I think mine is probably Squirtle, or maybe Charmander, I don't know, or maybe it's Pikachu. I'm really indecisive. Yeah, let me know who yours is in the comments below. And let's carry on.
And then I moved on to the McDonald's box while like everything was baking. And I used these Arteza outdoor acrylics that I use, and yeah, it's simple, of course, red and yellow, and I also painted the Pikachu yellow once it came out of the oven. I have no idea what happened to that footage, or why I didn't film it coming, like once it had come out of the oven, but yeah, it would look the same to be honest as when it went in, so don't worry about that. But I painted it yellow, and then I started working on the face. Just use like a piping bag tip, and I pressed the circles between my fingers just to make them a bit bigger. This was just to help get the circular shape, as I tried cutting it freehand and it didn't go well. So yeah, and then I pressed them down onto the face, and I used this silicone tool to like roll over it very lightly just to get rid of like the fingerprint marks. I figured out this gets rid of fingerprints, so yeah, I started doing it. And then I added in some like darker clay to put the like dark part of the mouth, and I wasn't happy, so I thought, Pikachu, you know what, you need a nose job. So I grabbed some more clay and I rolled this on like on to the top, and I was like, cool, perfect, ready to get baked. So I actually used my heat gun to cure this clay, and also the cheeks and the mouth. It just saves time and you don't have to put it in the oven, because it was just tiny parts, there's no point. So I just, yeah, grabbed my heat gun as I said, and this cured the clay. And of course I went ahead and painted over the like mouth bit to match the rest of Pikachu, make sure it was all nice and yellow. And then I started doing the eyes. So I was so nervous about the eyes because if you get the eyes wrong, you know, it makes a big difference. And I actually tried doing the eyes around 3 or 4 times. So even this part, I eventually took the whites off that I'd put with clay and actually painted them on. I didn't film that part, I'm sorry, but I really needed to work very close to make sure I did it perfectly because I did it freehand. But you will be able to see the painted whites of the eyes at the very end. And I added on like the black tips to the ears using a Posca pen. Just thought it was easier than getting like a paintbrush to get that neat line. Sometimes it's easier just to use a pen. And I added on the like brown stripes onto his back with some brown Polymer Clay. Again, I cured that using my heat gun. And lastly, I needed to colour the brown part on the tail. So again, I just use a Posca pen for this, just for ease. And yeah, basically once that had dried, I was able to stick it down. So I just used some super glue for this, and I did rough up the part where I was going to stick it down to make sure, you know, it's rough and I could adhere properly. I actually put some on the back of the tail, and then I just pressed this together until it kind of dried a bit. Then I moved on to putting the whole sculpture together. So I used this like piece of foam to like raise up Pikachu. I photoshopped this cheeseburger wrapper, so I get a cheeseburger Happy Meal every time I go. So of course I had to like pay homage to that. What kind of food do you get when you go? Let me know in the comments. Also the chicken selects are really good. But anyway, time to see the final sculpture.
So here is the final like sculpture, or I don't even know what to call this, like art installation, whatever. I hope that you like it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Imagine if you actually bought a Happy Meal and you got a Pikachu, and how sick would that be? But yeah, anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe for more from myself. See you next time. Bye!